They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want you.
Hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Hello viewers, welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawa Garba. Before we begin, remember that just like corruption, the coronavirus disease can be prevented. Stay safe. Section 6 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 says, where reasonable grounds exist for suspecting that any person has conspired to commit, or has attempted to commit, or has committed an offense under this act, or any other law prohibiting corruption, to receive and investigate any report of the conspiracy to commit, attempt to commit, or the commission of such offense, and in appropriate cases, to prosecute the offenders. Against this backdrop, the Commission, as soon as it was established in the year 2000, hit the ground running and has prosecuted many corrupt persons over the years. This year, 2020, ICPC, in the same vein, has secured many convictions against persons it had earlier dragged before different courts of competent jurisdiction across the nation. Today on the program, we shall take a look at some of the convictions the Commission has secured this year and lessons we can learn from them. We shall also bring you a bit of character building drama and our ethics and values spice. Stay with us.
Corruption out in my country.
Welcome to Studio Airline.
Oh, thank you. Please, we need ticket to Abuja. Yes.
Oh, so sorry, sir. The seats are fully booked.
Hello, ladies.
Good day, ma'am.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Please, I need a ticket to Abuja.
Oh, sure.
40,000, man. Okay. Here.
Excuse me. Abuja.
Yes.
But you people told us that tickets are finished. Abi?
When you asked for tickets, there was no ticket.
Exactly.
So this is what you people do. You hoard tickets and use them for your private business. This is the same reason why, when we get into the flight, half of the seats are empty.
Oga, you can call Minister of Aviation.
Excuse me? So this is what you do? You hoard tickets for your PP? This is corruption and
Not in my country. Stop corruption now.
Corruption out in my country.
Welcome to Focus of the Day. 4 persons, including a woman, have been sentenced to 160 years imprisonment on a multiple count charge of conspiracy and possession of counterfeit banknotes. Honorable Justice Abdulaziz Anka of a federal high court sitting in Yola, Adamawa State, handed down the sentences to the convicts in the case brought by ICPC. The judge ruled that they would spend 10 years in prison on each of the 4 counts preferred against them. To give us details of how the offenses were committed, let us join the acting head of Investigation Department of ICPC, Prince Hassan Muhammad.
It's a case where we have 3 of them right now. They have been convicted. According to the report by the investigators who handled the matter, 3 of the convicts, namely Hadiza Adamu Bello, Mohammed Dauda, and Bello Salisu, had in sometime around 2017, March 2017, left Kaduna and were joined by the 4th convict by name Ali Adamu from Kano. Now, their mission was to meet one Hassan Bello, who is a native doctor. Now, he is a counterfeiter based in a place called Wamdio Uba in Borno State. Their intention was to procure about 5 million naira counterfeit banknotes in exchange for about 1 million naira from a customs officer. Now, for whatever reasons which we are unable to tell, the deal with the customs officer didn't go through. And so, on their way back to their destination, they were caught at the checkpoint by soldiers who searched them and then discovered that they were carrying counterfeit banknotes, 1,000 naira denomination. And it has a value, assuming it's real money, a value of about 5,504,000. After the arrest by the soldiers along Jire Yola Road, they were handed over to the ICPC. Now, we launched investigation into the matter and conducted a search at the residence of the counterfeiter at Wamdi Uba, where the counterfeiter was arrested. We conducted a search on the property and found 1,000 naira denomination with the same serial number on him or at his premises. And the value of that is 24,000 naira. We have established a prima facie case already, and so the matter was taken to court. Now, the trial, therefore, actually, why I mentioned the trial will be known at the end of this account, except Bello Salisu now, they were charged for, or with abetment to commit an offense. And the offense is possession of counterfeit banknotes. The other 4 suspects, including the native doctor, were arraigned on a 4-count charge of being in possession of counterfeit banknotes. Now, the offense of being in possession of counterfeit banknotes violates Section 5, Sub 1B, and Section 6, Sub 2B, and this is punishable under Section 5, Paragraph 1, and C of the Counterfeit Currency Special Provisions Act, Cap C 35, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. All of them were charged with conspiracy to commit an offense, and which is possession of counterfeit banknotes. Now, that offense contravenes Section 6, Sub 2B, and punishable under Section 5, Paragraph 1, and C of the Counterfeit Currency Special Provisions Act, Cap C 35, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria. Now, in the ruling, Justice Anka found the accused persons guilty on each of the 4 counts and sentenced them to 10 years imprisonment, all of them. However, the sentences will run concurrently. However, like I said in the beginning, the native doctor, whose name is Hassan Bello, died before judgment could be delivered. And so his name was struck out. That is how we came about the conviction of the 3 persons.
You are still watching Corruption Must Go. In another development, the self-acclaimed rector of International College of Professions, ICP, Iha Alumona in Nsukka, Enugu State, was convicted and sentenced to a fine of 100,000 naira by Honorable Justice Nwobodo of High Court 5 sitting in Enugu. The commission had arraigned the convict, Reverend Obioku Nnamdi Royalson, on a 5-count charge of conspiracy, forgery, fraud, cheating, and dishonesty. However, following a plea bargain, the counts were reduced to 3. Stay with us as we bring you details of findings from the field.
This case is an interesting one. It has to do with one Reverend Royalson, who established a school called International College of Professions. Now, he is in the habit of luring people into believing that the institution is accredited and they offer all professional courses. And in that light, he lured or deceived, as it were, one Ogbonna Yukeria Chidebere into believing in the scheme, which is that the ICP awards professional certificates to students. And he fraudulently enrolled her into preclinical medical course in that college and engaged one Eze Christian Chinedu as a lecturer to teach her. He was also said to have issued her with an academic transcript preparatory to her traveling to the Philippines to complete her degree in medicine. And this he knows fully well, that the college does not have any approval whatsoever from the Federal Ministry of Education, nor even the National University Commission. So it means that all he is or was doing was illegal, because he made them believe that he has accreditation to teach medicine or take medicine courses at the college. However, that is not true. But we charged him to court, and the trial judge, Honorable Justice Unwobodo of High Court 5, sitting in Enugu, found Royalson guilty on all the 3 counts preferred against him by the prosecution, that is, prosecutors of the ICPC, and accordingly sentenced him to 100,000 naira only. That's exactly what happened in that matter.
Suddenly, the world stopped.
COVID-19 does not discriminate.
Like corruption, everyone,
regardless of
Social status,
Economic class,
color,
creed,
religion.
pays. Corruption is deadly to development.
COVID-19 is deadly to human lives.
corrupt persons exploit times of emergency response.
to act corruptly.
Do not be tempted.
Don't enrich yourself with COVID-19 relief funds.
ICPC is watching.
If we can end COVID-19
By sacrificing social contacts,
we can eradicate.
Corruption.
COVID-19 can be prevented.
Also,
Corruption can be prevented.
ICPC salutes all the people
on the front lines
Of COVID-19 fight.
we salute you too.
For saying no to corruption.
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 Welcome back. ICPC has secured the conviction of Mr. Zacchaeus Ate, a former commissioner for agriculture in Kogi State, North Central Nigeria. Mr. Ate was convicted on corruption charges by a Kogi State High Court sitting in Okene, Kogi State, and presided over by Honorable Justice J.J. Majabi. He was found guilty on 7 counts out of 11 of the charge preferred against him by ICPC. Still standing by with details is the acting head of investigation department of the commission. Let us join him.
This is one of those kind of cases you get to hear when issues of violence come up. And of course, what you also get when money is meant for farmers are misused or misapplied or misappropriated. Now, Mr. Zacchaeus Ati, as you noted earlier, was the former Commissioner for Agriculture in Kogi State. Now, he was charged with the responsibility to ensure that agriculture thrives. However, that was not to be the case. He was at some point given the sum of 11,937,000 and another 8,873,766 naira 85 kobo. Now, what is this money meant for? It was meant for the raising and distribution of oil palm sprouted nut seedlings to be distributed to cocoa farmers in Kogi State. But Mr. Zacchaeus Ati, sadly, so to say, did not raise nor distributed those seedlings to farmers. Now, that offense is contrary to and punishable under Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, Section 19 talks about using office or position to gratify or confer undue advantage upon oneself, relation, or associates. Now, accordingly, he was charged to court to answer to these offenses. Now, he was also sentenced on count 2 to 5 years imprisonment without option of fine. This is also for receiving the sum of 350,000 naira, which was to defray transport costs for farmers who were to partake in the exercise. He failed to do that also. It's an offense also contrary to Section 19 of the ICPC Act. Now, the former commissioner was also sentenced to another 1 year imprisonment on each of counts 8 to 11 for spending the sum of 2.8 million naira, which was earmarked for the purchase of office equipment on what he called statewide sensitization tour, visit to Lagos from Abuja on issues of power tiller and video coverage. Now, that offense is contrary to and punishable under Section 22, paragraph 5 of the ICPC Act. Now, this is what I said earlier, that is tantamount to virement, which is Section 22.5 says that, or is about transferring money from one vote to another without authorization, which is what the former commissioner did. Interestingly, while reading his judgment, the trial judge justified the conviction by saying that the ICPC legal team have proved their case beyond reasonable doubt. And accordingly, he was convicted and sentenced to 19 years in prison. That's the crux of the story.
so.
Now, straight to business.
Good.
Now, that case between State versus Femi Wole.
Femi Wole?
Yes.
Is he your son?
That's my heir apparent.
Did he actually kill the wife?
His juvenile delinquency, they must have taken some few bottles.
A man of 40. Juvenile delinquent?
Now, what do we do? I don't want him to go to jail.
We are very good friends. But for this, I cannot help you.
You know I was so nice to you in school. I took care of you.
I'll politely leave.
No, you can't leave. How much do you want me to pay?
Wale, this is not about money. It's about the law. Bribing a judge to subvert the cause of justice is corruption. Not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
The acting head of legal department ICPC, Mr. Henry Imore, shares lessons from all the cases we have talked about today. Let us hear from him.
Okay, like the first case we talked about, this is the case that emanated from Adamawa State, where the defendants were in possession of counterfeit currency. And they were duly charged under the Counterfeit Currency Act, and they just gave them the maximum sentence of 10 years each. There were 5 defendants, but before judgment, one of the defendants died. And the 4 defendants, including a woman, that was 3 male and female, they were sentenced, giving the maximum sentence on each of the 4 counts. They were sentenced to 10 years imprisonment each, though the sentences were run concurrently. And looking at it, I think the judge felt he needed to give them the maximum count because we were looking at the short route to success. There is no short route to success. You must learn to work hard. And everything is a step at a time. So for this we were trying to, how would I put the PD gun? Try to trade in counterfeit currencies, and they were caught and prosecuted. And the judge duly sentenced them. Then with respect to the other case, that was with a case in someone in Enugu State who was running a university or kind of an advanced school for medical sciences, where he was issuing medical certificates to people. And there are people who now issue fake certificates to people, and they will go to hospitals and start killing people. Well, he realized his mistakes, and he pleaded guilty. And he was duly sentenced, and was shut the school down. This is, we need to advise our young team, our youths, and those looking for admission into various institutions. It's not every institution you see you go to. Even if you see an institution, it doesn't take much. There are various regulating agencies, NUC, National Board for Technical Education. Go there, go to their websites. Click the name of the school. If it's accredited, you see it's accredited. Not just in any school, go and register, give you fake certificates. And most of them now, I think we will start prosecuting those of them too, who come out with fake certificates from these institutions. So I want to advise all our youths, when you are seeking admission, look for the accredited ones, please. It is very, very important. Then thirdly, with respect to the third person I was convicted, we talked about, he's a 7th civil servant. But at the point in time, he got a political appointment as a commissioner in Kogi State. And monies that were meant to buy seedlings to promote agriculture, because he was the commissioner for agriculture in a certain state, and he rather converted the said sums for his personal use. And the court found him guilty without an option of fine. So he's still serving his jail term now. So this is our advice, or the commission advice to all of us. Whatever position you find yourself, you are put there in a position of trust to serve the people, not to serve your own self-interest. One day, no matter how long it takes, the long arm of the law will catch up with you.
From the stories we have heard, it is very clear that there is no hiding place for corrupt persons. It is only a matter of time before the long arm of the law catches up with them. Let integrity be our watchword always in all that we do. Citizens have the duty to report acts of corruption to the Commission through the toll-free numbers 0800 call ICPC, or they can visit any of our offices closest to them. That's our package on this week's edition. You can watch the program on our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. Bye for now.